but we're better than this. And if you can't even have the cojones to justify it as the chair of the committee, doesn't that speak volumes? If you could, just because I only have 5 minutes, 20-second description of what the agricultural urgency of protecting the freedom of religion from government discrimination is, if you could please explain that briefly.
That's part of the en bloc amendment. That's Mr. Cloud's amendment. I don't know if you want to yield time to Mr. Cloud to explain it.
Well, you're the chair, and you're usually the one who describes the amendment at the beginning. I know we're kind of moving quickly, but could you just briefly explain the agricultural urgency importance?
I think that if you want the best information, I'm not sure why you won't yield to the maker of the amendment.
Yeah, I don't blame you for not wanting to address it, I guess. I don't know if there's going to be future amendments that allow us to discriminate against people who eat shellfish or people who wear mixed fibers. Certainly, if we're going to be pure and purely making sure that we're discriminating against people, we should, use all aspects of the Bible, not just discriminating against. I appreciate that you didn't want to defend it, because trust me, I wouldn't want to be in your position either on this. Look, we couldn't even vote for an amendment to find out why 40% of dairy farmers don't have health insurance because they're working year-round taking care of the cows in the agricultural bill, but somehow we're saying you should be able to discriminate someone simply for who they're legally married to. Now, we could go through and have this debate, and I assume you're going to add this to every single bill. You could have done it earlier, but it's so much more fun to do here, because hell, this is fantasy Congress, right? We're not really doing the budget, right? I mean, fantasy football, it's fun to play. Sometimes it doesn't mean anything. We don't have all of our numbers. We don't have the big, beautiful bill for billionaires done, anything else. So what we're going through is this great fantasy Congress moment, and it makes us have lots of late nights together and lots of snacks. But if you're going to put amendments out there that attack people like me simply because I'm married to my husband, and you're saying you can discriminate, somehow someone can refuse to sell me cheese or whatever the hell this amendment means, I really don't know. But I don't blame the chairman for not wanting to try to justify this, because this is pretty ridiculous that we're having this debate at 9:40 in an agricultural bill. But I'm sure as hell not going to just shut up if you're going to do this. And if you're going to do every bill, I'm going to make sure we read it then. I don't think we don't need to just automatically ignore it. I want every word to be entered into the record. Of course, we don't actually keep a record here. We found that out, right, when we do the words. But look, I mean, we are a democracy. We're not a theocracy. If we're going to have amendments that allow people to discriminate, at least, do it in the regular bill. The fact that you bring these out and you throw it in amendments like this. I mean, Mr. Chair, I agree with one part of this. There's the part on kratom, I think, is a great amendment, and I strongly agree with it. But when you start taking into, because it's related to the FDA, it's related to actually what this bill is about. But if you're just going to put a portion in so you can pound your chest and say that somehow, you're stopping people from loving who they love, and you're going to put it in every single bill, this is so ridiculous. No, actually, that's a lie. This is beyond so ridiculous that we go through this. This is insulting to your staff who may be out. This is insulting to some of your members who may not be out yet. This is insulting to the many members on our side who are out. And, I know we've had this fight every time, and you guys just love to have this fight. But we're better than this. And if you can't even have the cojones to justify it as the chair of the committee, doesn't that speak volumes? Like, you whisk by it in describing it, and then when you're asked about it, you still don't want to talk about it. I don't blame you, Mr. Chair. I respect that, because this is ridiculous to put this at this level into a bill like this. So if you're going to do it every bill, I'll rise every bill. I'll try to get creative. I'll give you some new stuff. But, at least I got to admit, I respect you more, Mr. Subcommittee Chair, for not wanting to justify this bill verbally, because it clearly is full of it.